And on that day, he was saying that, look, Nigerians are yearning for pragmatic change that will help them escape poverty. There's no time for rhetoric, according to the president. And I suppose that will ring a bell with a lot of people. President Tinubu has shown from very first that he means business. In fact, people have been saying he's been making bold economic, well, he has started what will be like bold economic reforms. So I have two experts here that we're going to talk about this. First of all, Tunde Olatunji is a financial and economic expert. And then we also have Mr. Sheson Okunade. Mr. Okunade is a financial analyst. Thank you very much for making the time for us.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to all our viewers.
Indeed, thank you very much. As soon as Mr. Olatunji can join us, he will do so. But Sheson, starting off with you, the president, not just in his action, but also some of his speech. Imagine that statement at the inauguration of NEC that, look, Nigerians are yearning for pragmatic reforms. And so from me, just take it, there's no time for rhetoric. That seems to be something of the signature of this administration. It's been action, action, action.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, you are talking about NEC. President actually started on the day of inauguration, 29th of May, when he was delivering his speech, and just in 3 sentences, in 3 words.
In 3 words.
In 3 words. You see, people that mean action don't talk much. They don't need to read a pistol before you understand that they need to pass the message.
Can you imagine?
While it was going, he just said, subsidy is gone.
It is gone.
He didn't use long sentences where you have to be interpreting or misquoting, or being misguided, or being misconstrued. It's just a straight word. Subsidy is gone. Straight.
And I imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if President Tinubu also didn't expect that in return from his team. Say, don't come and be making speeches here. There's a roadmap. There's a plan. I'm looking for results. So, I mean, if you have been able to achieve what was said, then, as you were saying, and as he has said, no need for rhetoric.
Yeah, you see, when someone is prepared for a particular position, you will see that from day one. And that is what he has actually done. He made several promises during the campaign. And you see, you don't have to wait till a month, 2 months, 3 months, like we had during the past 100 days, before people start feeling your impact. The last 2 weeks, 15, 16 days, you already passed the message. And I can speak of it because you would have actually, you see, when you are contesting for any position, there are plans you would have actually put in place. Whether you win, you lose. You are on the path that I will win this election, and people must start feeling the vibes right from onset. And that's what he has done. On the inauguration day, he gave us that particular one. He went ahead. The work of the previous administration in terms of the Electricity Act, you know, what the last administration did was to give the roadmap to say, okay, constitutionally, we are removing this from the exclusive list and bringing to the concurrent list. And because, if you know Asiwaju for who he is, our president, he was one of the first people during the administration when he was the governor of Lagos State to first brought up the idea of IPP, the Independent Power Project.
That's right.
The federal government
it was the first in Nigeria.
Yeah, the federal government never supported him. They stifled the neck.
That was in the Obasanjo regime.
Yeah, they said no. But
Obasanjo
now,
frustrated it.
He now had someone who has, you see, there is a good collaboration between the last weeks of Buhari and the current president. You make the constitution amendment. Leave the other one for me to sign to act. Do you know the benefit that we are getting from this electoral act when we start the manifestation or the implementation of some of these things? States are already venturing into having the framework for this to work. You see, all those areas where we are jammering to, permit me to use that word, the bedrock of the success of that thing is that there is a system working and there is availability of power supply.
Indeed.
I say this to everyone. It is not only in the area of industry that you look at when you talk about power. A student that wants to read, comes back from school, and is rushing to finish his assignment, all because he knows that by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, NEPA will take light and he won't come to you the next morning. So what do you expect him to do? While he's still in that tensed, you are coming from school, your teacher has batched you left, right, and center, but there's an assignment for you to do. He will not relax. What will you see him do? Rushing the assignment. But when you have guarantee of power supply, those days while we are growing up, first thing you do when you come back from school, you freshen up. You take your siesta. That's to relax. The tension your teachers
have given. You remember well.
And the
that was back in the day.
In the days.
Now, all that your siesta time, you're still on the road.
In the traffic.
In the traffic.
So, but even with that, if you even get home by 6, when your parents are saying, my son, come back, come and do this, you say, Mommy, I have to do assignment. I don't want teacher to beat me because NEPA will soon take light. But you now have an act that will give us guarantee good power supply. From education side, you are getting it right. So I can come home, relax. People like us where we are studying those days, I don't read during the day. As a matter of fact, my friend will say, don't emulate your son. Because you will always be playing during the daytime. When it is 1 o'clock, I go to bed early. When it's 1 o'clock, when the environment is calm, the brain has settled down. Mommy is not calling me to say, have you washed the plate? She's asleep herself. Because I know there is power supply, I get straight to my book. And that has been the bedrock that provided the success.
In this context of economic reforms, as you started on some of them, we can talk about 4 main planks that we have seen. And I get the feeling that this is still just the tip of the iceberg. There's the subsidy removal thing. There's the electricity thing. There's the unified forex thing. And look at that whole students' loan law. Not to mention, we just heard about special advisors yesterday. Talk about round pegs and round holes and that kind of a thing.
Uncle YORI, I don't know what will happen when we'll be doing 100 days in office.
If we've got this much or this far.
Within less than 20 days?
Yes.
When you talk about subsidy, do you know the flamboyant life average Nigerians are living, we have curtailed it?
I think so.
It's not about thinking, sir.
Because people have to now take notice. Unlike before, when we were doing things because of subsidy, that went the most economic. Now we are thinking.
Before that subsidy was removed, I had opportunity to travel to Ife. And I filled my tank, 185 then, spent about 12,000 naira. They invited me. What I would have done and presented on Zoom. I said, no problem, I will come and I will encourage you. I traveled. I came back and they removed subsidy. The same liters of fuel I got for 33,000.
There you go.
And I asked myself, when I'm using this fuel, what is paying for it? That means whatever I'm going to do must be ready to, give me returns. Pardon me, I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
There's always return on investment. I've invested 33,000 on my fuel inside my car. It's an investment. What is going to repay back those things? I must have good justification for everywhere I go. So those Saturdays that you decide to want to just feel like, Uncle YORI, let me come and greet you. I will always say, okay, YORI, can we talk?
Let's chat.
So we chat. So those are the indiscipline.
Indeed.
Some of these things are actually correcting to not discipline us that everybody is doing. You can see state government. What are they doing? Looking at staggering work activities.
That's right. Some state
you see,
governments have begun to
when COVID came, we thought it was a curse. COVID actually prepared us for the time like this. There are several meetings that people now have, millions of meetings. There are clients that have not seen face to face. There are individuals that have not seen face to face. All we do is to have this group meeting. Everybody, they will see your face there. And they do see you on other aspects. You've submitted your proposal. And they can ask you, okay, and you conclude the deal without actually visiting the offices.
Right.
I know of several offices as we speak, since COVID, they've not actually resumed back to office. They are working from home.
The old style way.
Yes. Work from home and give your productivity as expected.
So, there's a sense in which, I don't know, as you said, he arrived prepared. He arrived prepared.
Our president, I'm sure, while he was young, was a member of the Boy Scouts. Because that was our slogan.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. He was fully prepared, and he never minds words. He goes straight to it. When you now move from there to the Electricity Act, It was on sports. If we are able to remove, walk in line, have the right framework, there are several investors. All they need is a guarantee of their investment that are ready to pump their investment in the power sector. Enough of having it in the hands of very few.
You know, Sheson, these things that you are saying, most economic experts, accountants have been aware of this, but it hasn't been done by the presidents of the time. No undue criticism. They probably were busy with a lot of other things, so everybody has their own priority. But when you look at subsidy removal, there's a sense in which Buhari, this is between Buhari and Tinubu administration. But by the time you remove the subsidy regime, the electricity, you're now, finding a different format for it.
Yes.
Unified forex window, even students' loan. All of these are sort of interlinked. People might not necessarily instantly see it, but they also link themselves back into the economy, don't they?
Sincerely speaking, they are. I'm sure you know each time we come on air and we talk and we say, we have fantastic policies, good laws. Our problem is implementation. And what is the bedrock of this implementation? You have to talk of the political will of the leader. This unified foreign exchange you're talking about, I'm sure you know that the chairman of the National Economic Council of the last administration, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, that was his model. But there was no handshake between the management of the monetary policy, the CBN to implement this, and the national economic policy. The fiscal policy was doing our own from the Ministry of Finance in a different perspective. But I remember vividly that I listened to him. He said, can we allow the forces of demand and supply to play its role in our foreign exchange so that people will not capitalize on the differences we are seeing? And this man was just by the door. Ashiwaju was looking. Give me the mantle. I know what to do. And just 2 days ago, he said, let's go it. At the beginning of everything is going to be very hard. Remember when the telcos came? I'm sure you know those days you people are using Nitel. Very pragmatic, you have to go and queue. And for people like us, who our parents could not afford Nitel then, we must go and wait and see when we want to receive call. But when the liberalization of that sector came, other people ventured into it. Some first came and said, okay, we'll give you the phone. I know the amount I bought my Sergeant with antenna. I was a big boy then. When you are using, there are phones you make use of them. Sergeant, Nokia.
Yes.
Nokia 3310.
Yes.
I was working in the bank.
Add Siemens.
Add Siemens to it. Those are the big boys' phones. And we even have to pay instrumental, even though we are big boys. But after a while, competition came in. In fact, they were charging us per minute. One of the service providers said, no, I'm going to break it. I'll give you per second. This is saying it's not going to be achievable. He said, okay, let me test the water. And that particular company, that service provider came up, gave us per seconds, and everybody migrated, and the other one just unbundled.
So it shows you that there's another sense in which Nigerians are not necessarily their own brother's keepers.
Of course, every businessman in this country.
Until Adenuga came along and said, well, sorry, I'm late to this particular party, but look at what I've brought along.
This is it.
And
if you are ready to follow me.
Everybody copied him.
And copied. They already had the template on ground. But for everything that you see some of those people does, they have a template for it. All they are doing is somebody to ignite the fire.
Yeah, okay.
Let me give you, when this lady that entered the Guinness Book of Records, do you believe that we have the potential of other people who can cook longer than her? Unleashing it, we've seen someone who has done 120 hours.
Benny.
We've seen someone who is gradually outshining that 120 hours. What you need in Nigeria is somebody to open the gate. Everybody will just plug in. That was what Adenuga did. And that's what is coming to the power sector.
And look at the telephony sector that you spoke about. Now, all of these things, people now take for granted. You don't have to be any VIP special person to now have, quite frankly, what a Dangote has in terms of a telephone in your pocket.
Dangote might decide to buy iPhone 17.
Yes.
I might decide to buy that particular thing.
But
the most important thing is that both of us are receiving call.
It became something normal. And that's what Tinubu wants to do with all of it.
You go to party and they are sharing SIM card for you to go and register. You ask yourself, this was the same SIM card I bought over 30-something thousand.
That's right, back in the day. So
people are given phone.
But we started there then, and here we are now. There's no going back. And I think that's the mantra. That's what Tinubu is all about. That there will be things that are going to be done, because morning shows the day. There are things that we have seen now that I'm just guessing Nigeria will refuse to go back to how it was before.
You will start from the subsidy, Uncle Yori.
Let me bring on, I had said that Mr. Tunde Olatunji, who, financial and economic expert, was also built to be on this program. So a fine morning to you, Tunde. Good morning. Well, so pending when he joins us, this is the situation any luck? No luck yet. We are having one or two challenges. It's been going for quite a few days. So you were making the point that all of these things are interlinked, from subsidy removal to electricity provision to the unified forex window, to even the students' meltdown. And don't even forget what was it not yesterday we heard about the appointment of special advisors, and we were commenting before coming on air that, we might not know very much about it. I mean, speaking like for people like me, not you. But these look like a bunch of round pegs in round holes.
Perfect, Uncle Yori.
Perfect fits.
I read through the crop of the advisors, and I'm like, if I could see Ashiwaju yesterday, I say, sir, offer me to take you out for dinner. Although I can't pay the bills.
That's how pleased you were.
When you look at the special advisor for strategy, special duty, Alake, by Big Bros, is a veteran. He understands what journalism is all about. He understands what communication.
The communication, most importantly.
He understands. Look at the role he played during the campaign. Come to my friend that they have made the special advisor on revenue, a fellow professional colleague of my institute, both in the tax profession and in the accounting profession, an ex-commissioner of finance in Oyo State, a very young guy. Who understand what revenue driver. This is a guy that has, in every organization he has worked for, his major focus is how do we increase revenue.
So those are kind of the assets.
You will not come to a place and we see your revenue and give him 1 year and that revenue will still be the same. Look at the lady that was actually made the special advisor on power.
On energy, the power.
Energy. Some people have started criticizing, it's not in the power sector, it doesn't have it. Do you know what Baba did? Since you in the power sector refuse to move, even with the electricity act I'm giving you, I'm considering renewable energy.
That's right.
She's an expert in that. She has the foreknowledge of it.
In fact, that's where, whether we like it or not, with people like Tinubu in place, that renewable energy thing, it's almost certain. Because the world is getting green. That
is the magic that happened in Germany. And I think possibly, because I didn't hear Baba go to Germany, maybe he said some delegates, maybe he would have added, because that was the magic. You see, you can't move 2-3 houses in this developed area without seeing the renewable energy being engaged. If I consider this your estate, you will see on top of every roof.
There will be a few panels.
There must be a few panels there.
Yeah.
So the question we are asking now is that they are actually making use of that. The energy you are storing, how can we get it from you, from solar, into the central place where we can redistribute where there are failures?
It's going to happen.
And because that is the lady who understands renewable to plug in with the electricity.
I'm happy that we now have Mr. Tunde Olatunji with us. Tunde Olatunji is a financial and economic expert. Good morning, Tunde. Great to see you. Okay, we're still having those issues. So as we were saying, it's a beautiful mix. One, we've spoken about the subsidy removal and what it is going to cause. Now savings there are going to enable other things to be done.
There is one thing, Uncle Yori, if you permit me to just interject. I'm sure you know that our president is my senior colleague, an accountant. One thing you always give to an accountant is that there are two sides of the coin. When you have the debit side, there's always a corresponding side for the credit.
Even people who are not accountants, they remember that one.
They know
they
that
remember that one. That one.
Debit entry and credit.
Yes.
He has given some debit, removal of subsidy. The credit leg of it will start saying, because he's a man who gives accounts. So for the month of June, don't be surprised. We're going to have understanding of saying, this is so much we have actually recovered from this subsidy, and this will be there. Because he understands what the books is all about. When you open the book, have a debit. Debit will always eat out on you because you are taking out of yourself. The credit will now be the relief that you will be getting. And I can tell you that is the modality that our president is going to have. I'm really happy that a finance person who understands figure, you know the success of every organization lies in the financial world.
A finance person, as you say, who knows what the figures mean and what the figures are saying, but also a person coming from the private sector.
You know his successes while he was
exactly. So there's all of that. And then, on top of that, now put the vast political experience for when you now come into office. So all of this is there. You can't take that away. And then he's following it up with action. Look, there are people who are criticizing that there have been a lot of explosions, quote unquote explosions, But you see, look,
the explosion is good.
Yeah,
everybody is already preparing them because you don't know the next.
Sometimes you remember what the miners do when they are going to mine a new place. They start blasting, don't they?
No.
They start blasting the rock.
So when
if
you
there
hear
are rocks
the noise,
anywhere,
you know whether to gather yourself. Or to
exactly, and more importantly, you remove all sorts of obstructions to what you want to do to get to that vein that is populated with gold or whatever it is.
That's another thing I will give credit to Ashiwaju. He doesn't underrate anyone, but at the same time, he wants a situation where he wants you to give account of certain things you have done. Some of the removal we've seen, nobody is an allegation. Can you step aside, answer the question? If you are okay, we allow you to go. There is no crime in that. He's bringing the perspective as a finance person to what we call audits. You see, for every accounting you put in place, you have somebody within that organization who is an auditor. And what auditors does is to provide check and balances. You carry out this transaction yesterday. Those days while we're in the financial, in the banking sector, every transaction that was carried out yesterday, somebody is out there, ticking out to make sure that every posting is right. And what he has done is that, fine, you have served, can you come give account? Certain people are not really pleased with certain things that is being done. Can you come, give explanation so that we can give a clean slate? And so it's not a shaking. It's just a normal thing that we observe. When an auditor gets hold of you in the financial sector, sir, you'll be sweating under 2 horsepower AC. But the truth of it is, if you know what you're doing, you know your onions, all you need to do is to provide explanation of certain things that has actually happened. And once he's satisfied with it, he gives you a clean slate. That might even be a stepping stone to greater height for you if you understand some of those things. So we discover that some of the things Ashiwaju is actually bringing to bear are the things we know him for. Having the right set of people, doing the right thing, having understanding of it. These are the advisors. Now we have moved from the National Assembly that has been settled. We've moved to now have the advisor to guide him on things to do. We are waiting the list. There will be shocker. He said it while he was coming. He said, I'm not going to be mediocre about this. It's going to be on merit. And this is a man we know those days while he was the governor of Lagos State. He handpicked those young, dedicated, trusted hands to drive it. Those days they were saying it's okay.
And all of this is sorely necessary because it just reinforces what he said at the inauguration of NEC that there is no time for rhetoric. Nigerians are yearning for pragmatic reforms that will help take them out of poverty. So that's going to be a theme. But I've got to take a break now. Okay. come right back. We'll continue. And maybe we'll have better luck with Mr. Tunde Olatunji, who is already in place remotely. We're seeking to join us. So stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas. It shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting, as the arts are meant to be.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field.
Taking you through as it happened.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting.
With investigations that matter.
Bringing in news that affects your life.
With sports, entertainment, and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back from the quick break. And we still have Mr. Sheson Okwade, financial analyst, in studio. And we have also established contact with Mr. Tunde Olatunji. Actually, correct that. Honorable Tunde Olatunji, financial and economic expert and former Osun State legislator. A fine morning to you, Tunde. I'm trying to establish if I reached you. Good morning, Tunde. Okay. We'll sort that out. I don't want us to spend too much time, but we have in place Honorable Tunde Olatunji, financial and economic expert. I really wish that he could also hear what we're saying in studio. because it's all germane, and I know it's a passion with him too, this whole matter of financial and economic development. But talking about, while we were getting Honorable Olatunji on, I was listening to another expert on television yesterday, Bismarck Rewani, and he was talking about the window, the single window thing, and there were a lot of comments about, oh, the Naira appreciated, the Naira did this, the Naira did that, but he was saying, look, this thing, we definitely, something has happened. Now investors are, they're going to be perhaps a bit more encouraged. But he said, when you look at the indices that you people look at, you financial people look at that, the Naira should be somewhere between, if I say it properly now, I think he said it should be between 64 and 68 Naira to the dollar. He said that was his prediction as an expert, that probably is where it's going to be. But right now, because the foreign exchange rate with Nigeria, what with all those parallel channels, it got so ridiculous the ordinary Nigerian couldn't access it again. But now everybody, as it were, goes to the same source.
Yeah, you see, while we were actually advocating for the unified foreign exchange before now, is while we were in school, we thought about the demand and supply. And when you have demand and it outweighs your supply, you should expect that the cost of that particular thing will go up. When you have more supply, outweighing the demand that you have, and there is no lacuna in between, all you enjoy is that it crashes down the price. So with this foreign exchange having a unified amount, you think investors are not really encouraged in such a way that you make a lot of sales offshore while you are repatriating the fund back to the country. There are two opportunities. You are creating two alternatives. If I have access to the cash, definitely if I convert it back, I'm going to sell at this rate. But if I go through the window of the government, which is CBN, I'm going to sell at this rate. So look at the margin, quite wide. So you are kind of, rather than repatriating the funds back for other people to, because it's a pool of funds that everybody is using, you've collected, but rather than you repatriating back, you are using it in buying goods that you will sell in such a way to make the margin of what you are doing rather than getting the liquid funds back into the system. And that's what this is going to now close. Okay, Yori, if you are close to someone who is in CBN, imagine when they sell this to you at 400 and something Naira, and you have opportunity, you don't need to sell 700. I would tell you that you are too greedy. All you need to do is to just look for someone and sell at 550. Just make 100 Naira on it.
That was before, the before regime that has been smashed.
That will not exist again. So those that are holding the funds, all they need to do is now bring to the window, and we have more supply to play around.
Bobby in Jalingo, good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori. It's been a while.
Thank you very much for calling in. Great to hear from you.
Uncle Yori, I just have to be very realistic about your topic today. I did not vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu on a very serious note, but the way he started, I believe he's going to create a great impact into the economy of this country. Now, I just want to reflect back on the previous administration. Everybody thought, like people like me that were actually born and brought up in the barracks, that former President Buhari was going to take the bull by the horn to take decisive action. But it's just unfortunate that Tinubu, that is a civilian, came in and started on a very hard note that most of us actually are actually misquoting him. But I believe with the kind of knowledge and pragmatic approach that Tinubu did as the governor of Lagos said, I believe with our collective prayers and best wishes towards him,
indeed,
I believe that Nigeria is going to be a very, very good country. Let's just pray and wish him well. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate every program of yours.
Thank you very much for calling in. Nice words, Bobby. We're still working on getting Honorable Tunde Olatunji to join the program. He's a financial and economic expert. He's a former Osun State legislator.
Yeah, he's my brother. We are from the same constituency.
There
we us together this morning.
There you go. And we're talking about economic reforms. President Tinubu takes bold steps. And we've been talking about those things. It's about biting the bullet Tinubu has always spoken about, you see, people are now beginning to understand a bit better what he meant when he was talking about being passionate about this country. You know, because that being passionate, it shows in some of the decisions you take, some of the actions you take, and we can now begin to see it. And I guess the next level is to get us passionate, we ourselves, about Nigeria. Look at this subsidy removal thing. You know, Nigerian petrol station owners are fleecing ordinary Nigerians for as much as they can before things settle down. The things will settle down, but you go to a petrol station and stock that you know is old stock. You didn't go with them. So not every Nigerian, they might be mouthing it, but not every Nigerian is fully on board, I would say, from my sort of illiterate dipstick test, in that people are still trying to make a fast buck out of that. You know, it's now a challenging situation, but some people think this is the place to make money.
You'll make it, and how far will that take you?
Exactly.
Just, you know, you now have a bus stop. You know, when you are going on this destination, it may look very far, but you're already at the bus stop. And one thing I want to encourage Nigerians, I don't know if I seem to be taking things from while we are growing up, there are certain things our parents actually did for us. We consider it too hard, but some of us endured it. I'm sure while we are of age, we start appreciating them.
Some of those hard lessons
that we
were taught. Before you continue, I'm so sorry. Before you continue, Mr. George Inikeja has called in. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling.
And good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Morning.
Uncle Yori, the politicians that are jostling for positions in Asiwaju's government, I don't know how he's going to accommodate them. When you are looking, if you look at the capacity and competence that is coming to play in his appointments. So I'm just wondering how he's going to handle it. But I know he will know what to do.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, there's a plea that I want you to help us to pass to the government. The fuel has become costly. Everybody has accepted it that we need to, we need to do it. But if you go to the petrol station to buy 10 liters, Uncle Yori, you get highest 7 liters. If we are buying it at that rate, can't we get the correct measurement? There used to be an institution called DPR. They have gone under.
Yeah.
It's as if they don't exist anymore. The president should please help us to take a look at that institution and make petrol dealers to give us 1 liter that we are paying for.
Indeed.
So many people are suffering under this, and not everybody can come on air to speak up. But that is what is happening. Please help us pass this message to the president. We are dying.
Thank you very much for calling in on that, Mr. Yori. You know, we were just talking about the exploitation of Nigeria by Nigerians.
The issue there is the one heading DPR. I'm sure since last week, if his room is having 2 horsepower AC, he will be sweating. Do you know that certain agencies are already falling in place without anybody talking? After the shaking of the two mighties, they will definitely visit DPR. One thing I know about Asiwaju, his ears are on ground.
Indeed.
And his ears are on ground. He's a typical Yoruba.
And the ears of his men too.
He will say, Eti Oba Le, Eti Oba Loko. That is Asiwaju for you. Let the marketers continue to enjoy it. One thing I know is that there is a termination date for all those acts. This is the period that we feel that things will be done the way it should be, because the one at the helm of affair is having the political will to back those things that we expected to have correctly. It's not just that alone. A lot of changes we are going to enjoy that it will look as if, is this the country we're all in years back?
Indeed.
I told people that it was Japa before. It is now going to be Jawole.
Maybe something like that.
Maybe we'll start having them to get visa to come back to their country.
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said something like that. I think she coined a new word out of Japa. That is, Japa is one, and I can't remember what
the other one that you
the opposite that you're going to return back.
It's just a pity that those of us that are feeling the pain now,
yes,
those that have japa are not feeling it with us.
Yeah.
How I wish they can, so that when we start enjoying the enjoyment, you cannot be running to
they're giving us moral support.
Moral support.
Let it be. I believe we can now contact Honorable Tunde Olatunji, former Osun State Legislature, financial and economic expert. Good morning, Tunde.
Good morning, sir.
Now, thank you very much. This is YORI FOLARIN in studio here alongside Sheson Okwade, financial analyst. So sorry about the technical whatever it is, but now at least we have you. So we've been looking at the bold steps taken by President Tinubu in this administration. And, when you look at it, because you're coming into this a bit late, no fault of yours, we've looked at the subsidy removal, electricity, unified forex, students' loan, and then cap it with the just recent announcement of the special advisors that have been appointed by the president. But concentrating on the economic reforms, when you look at that mix, Tunde, how say you? It's been a frenzy of activity, and it looks like Nigeria is set for business now.
Absolutely. We must commend the courage that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, has displayed in leadership. A number of leaders in history and contemporary times have failed, not because they lack capacity, but because they are unable to, match their capacity with the needed courage to turn things around. And that is one of the things that the president has displayed. We've talked severally and repeatedly over the issue of the Nigerian economy. And the fact still remains that the issues and the constraint of our economy over the years has been structural. So when you have a structural defect in your economy, you cannot solve those problems by mere cosmetic approach to them. It's just like in building. If you have a problem with your building and it's falling off, and all you do at every point in time is to attempt to repaint it so that it looks good, when the structure keeps collapsing, then of course you will not get results. Those areas that Asiwaju had touched are areas that have to do with the structural defect of the Nigerian economy. The subsidy removal, the harmonization of our foreign exchange. How does it sound that Nigeria, being the biggest economy in Africa, could not even attract a foreign direct investment of $10 billion? That shows that the apathy towards investment in Nigeria is not there. We look at oil as the only source of our foreign exchange earning today because all other sources had become unattractive to people. Oil revenue is good, but we must also begin to implement and move away from, the rhetorics of saying we want to diversify our economy. We must begin to unlock the huge potential of this country.
Indeed.
Subsidy has been a major source of, deflating the Nigerian revenue. It has created a big hole that is no longer sustainable. It has outlived its existence. And so removing subsidy, and not just removing subsidy, that is the good thing about the approach of the new administration to subsidy removal. It's about ensuring that the gains of that removal will now go into the critical sectors of our economy that will touch everybody's life. A report by Haiti put our spending on subsidy at about 13 trillion between 2011 and 2020. And when you look at this, 2005 and 2020, and when you look at this sum, this is more than Nigeria's capital expenditure in 10 years on a singular product. A product that Nigeria has a capacity not only to be the biggest producer in Africa, one of the top 10 in the world as well, but we fail to have the refining capacity. So we have a situation where we are mere producer of this same oil, and rather than the oil adding value to our economy, it has not been able to add value to our economy. Till today, the contribution of the oil and gas sector to our GDP is still a single digit, under 10%. It was so bad in the last 2 years that oil contributed a meager 6%, a little over 6%. And this same oil is responsible for not less than 80% of our foreign exchange. It simply means that oil itself that is supposed to be not just a source of foreign exchange earning, but also a means of, giving life to our economy and using the same resources to develop other sectors, as we have failed.
You know,
in 2020, ExxonMobil declared a profit of about $55 billion. That is more than Nigeria's budget. Shell profit for 2022 was more than $40 billion. I'm talking about statistics of 2022 from the major oil companies of the world. And Nigeria, that is a major producer of this oil, could not do anything. As a matter of fact, that was when we needed to borrow to be able to survive, when other countries of the world are hence. So we must begin to look at how do we unlock the potential in the oil sector, how do we unlock the potential in the non-oil sector, and we must see this approach as one that will need the cooperation of Nigeria to make it work.
Tunde, I beg your pardon, Tunde. I beg your pardon, Tunde. Let me ask you a question. These are tough actions, especially where right now we're talking about subsidy removal, among others. And it's like, as if, even if the average, ordinary Nigerian might not necessarily understand when economic experts, like yourself, are analyzing the problem. But still, it's like they trust, and the society. I think what presidents have been afraid of in the past was that it might scatter society, but they seem to have voted, as it were. I'm not talking about the first vote. Voted for Tinubu's vision, Tinubu's idea that this is a task that needs to be done, and corruption. I think people are beginning to have a sense that, look, corruption that has been a real big problem, we might be getting a handle of it. You know what I'm saying about. So Tinubu, the Tinubu administration has a lot of goodwill on its hands now. And I suppose you're sort of sure, I'm asking a question now, that, look, this is a situation that will not be wasted. The goodwill that the people seem to be giving this administration to do those tough things that are necessary.
Thank you very much. Nigeria's situation is like a pregnant woman that has complications. And then we want to ensure that we save both the mother and the child. Yes, there will be pains, there will be cries, but at the end of the day, once we have good experts who knows what it takes to successfully midwife the birth of such of the mother and the child, we are sure that at the end of the day we are going to smile. Some of these measures absolutely would come with pains in the initial stage. But the question is, without those structural defects being addressed, Nigeria will not move.
Indeed.
We are all passionate about a country that functions. We want to see a country that works for all of us. And that's why we must encourage the citizens of this country to know that these are measures that are taken in the interest of our economy. Last year, Nigeria spent about 3 trillion on soil subsidy removal. Uncle YORI, let me say this to you. Oil is a very important, commodity to our economy, to Nigeria. Yes, I agree. But you also agree with me that it's not only about oil. What about the fact that even the cost of basic food and commodity is beyond the reach of an average person? The reason why we are having some of the resistance in the past is because of the fact that there is a trust deficit between the leaders and the people. And that is one area that the leadership of this country today, led by President Tinubu, has started well.
Indeed.
Nigerians, we must just enjoin ourselves to give him the support that he deserves. He meant well. I've been on this show in the past, and we have retreated and repeated severally that multiple exchange rates will not solve Nigeria's problem. Why do we earn money? Let me give you a classic example. Nigeria will earn money from oil in US dollars, and when it is time for you to share your allocation that everybody you share using the official window rate. But when people want to spend that money, when state will pay that salary, when federal government will pay the salary, it has to be with the black market, because those that are going to pay their salaries will go to the black market. What are the quick wins of some of these interventions, for instance? It simply means that if this month Nigeria earns $1 billion, rather than having a naira value of about 600 billion naira, we are going to have over 700 million or whatever rate it has come to, which is no longer going to be the business of government to bring together. Why is it that we have not had people coming to invest in this country before anymore?
Now,
why is it
now
that
things
the
are
direct
slightly
investments are
different
not
now.
coming? Because even when you invest in the general economy, when it is time for people to repatriate their returns, it becomes impossible. You don't have the capacity to do so.
Let me bring. Thank you. Let me bring the point you make today to Chesson, that structurally we were crumbling, and something had to be done fast. I keep on saying, because most ordinary, this is not an economic program like Tolo Gunjobi's program, a business program. That's a different, it's a hardcore kind of a program. So I mentioned that because the ordinary man himself knows that, wait a minute, you see what those experts are saying. They say we're spending more than 94% of our revenue servicing debt. I mean, I don't have to be any sort of an expert to know that that is just suicidal. So I suppose this is part of the structural decay that Tunde was talking about.
Of course, we keep telling everyone they can refer to us as experts, but our basic thing that we understand, that you and I know, as the man in the house, if you earn 100,000, but every month you tell your wife that 96,000 out of that money is used to take care of debt. I'm sure your wife one day will knock at the door. I'm sure in the next few months they will come and take me to repay the loan so that we can be able to pay the children's school fees.
It's a very vivid example that you give.
It's as simple as that to have it.
So this therefore means that it is urgent situations like that require urgent measures
and on
to
the
address.
final note, I want to appeal.
Yes.
The president did something while he was inaugurating the NEC. Enough of we putting our concentration on the federal government. We must put the state on their toes now. And I love some of the reforms that he's bringing in. Most of the time, we hardly look at the budget of a state and their expenditure.
Exactly.
But they are closer to us. So if he's actually giving them the matching order, that people must feel the vibes, with some of the reforms that we will be seeing empowering the state, don't be surprised in the shortest possible time, that which we have been yearning for, as by community policing or state policing, will come to reality, so that those money that goes to the state for security vote, we can now ask you account for it.
Because we were being ultra focused on the economy, we didn't even have time to look. Tunde, coming back to you, we didn't have, because we've got to go now, but I wanted to touch base with you. We didn't even get to agriculture, which is a big part of the Tinubu.
And the power lies with the states.
Yeah, exactly. So, Tunde, I want to thank you very much for coming on. Wish we had more time, but it is what it is. But nevertheless, Mr. Tunde Olatunji, financial and economic expert, we thank you for making time for us this morning. So sorry, that through no fault of yours, you couldn't be with us from the top of the program. And this is the time when I also say thank you very much to you, Chesson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uncle Yoru, for having me.
Financial analyst, indeed.
Thank you, sir.
So that's our program. Please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am YORI FOLARIN. Bye-bye for now.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance on your home without having to worry